Hi guys, it's Daiki here. Today let's talk about potatoes. It is a Finnish national food and that's something I cannot avoid here in Finland. This is actually one of the food culture shocks after moving to Finland because potatoes are basically everywhere. Mashed potatoes or perunamuusi in Finnish, potato casserole or perunalaatikko, boiled potatoes, baked potatoes and french fries, and so on. I remember that when I first had lunch at the student restaurant of the University of Jyväskylä, I was surprised to see several different dishes using potatoes at the same time. When I told my Finnish friends about it, they asked me so don't you guys eat potatoes in Japan? We do eat potatoes in Japan. We use potatoes as part of the dishes, we might put potatoes in curry, soup or some simmered food, but not like meals always come with potatoes. In Finland and maybe in some other countries, potatoes are positioned just like rice for us Asian people. For example, I need rice with many dishes because somehow that's more satisfying and feels right. One time my friend's father, who is a middle-aged Finnish man, told me the similar thing. He said that as a kid he had potatoes every day back then, and potatoes were even common carbohydrate than rice or pasta. That's why he still feels that the meal is incomplete if it doesn't contain potatoes. Anyway, what I want to do in this video is not judging if potato is better or rice or vice versa. I'd like to share some of my small experience related to potatoes. So I would say Finland is a country of potatoes. I remember when I visited my friend's family's place for dinner, I saw a couple of kilos of potatoes in the fridge and they told me that they can easily consume that amount. I'm now working for a company based in the Helsinki region and we usually have lunch at the lunch buffet place in our building or somewhere nearby when we work in the office. The buffet has a different menu every day, but in most times or with 99% chances we can find potatoes in the menu. However, this happened last summer. At the lunch buffet in the building where I'm working, there was no potato for 2 days in a row. If it's just for one day, maybe it's understandable, but it was for 2 days, so it was a rare thing to see. One of my Finnish colleagues was joking why isn't the media reporting on this suspicious potato shortage? In Finnish supermarkets you can find several different types of potatoes. Some potatoes are sold by weight and others are sold in plastic bags. What I found interesting was that there is a standard color code for bagged potatoes, which is usually used by grocery retailers in Finland. When I moved to Finland, I had no idea about it, but later I learned from a Finnish friend that there are basically 3 kinds. One comes in a green bag, one comes in a yellow bag, and the other in red. I'm not an expert in cooking potatoes and I don't always eat it, so I'm not gonna go into deep about the bag colors, but each type has its own characteristic and it seems to help people choose the right potatoes for the dishes. Maybe I should focus more on the colors when buying potatoes. So the green bag is kiinteä, which means farm. They are often used for salads, pan frying and boiling because they aren't easily broken down. The yellow one is called yleisperuna. They are supposed to be pretty much universal ones and good for various dishes. They contain more starch than the green ones. And the red one is jauhoinen, which literally means floury, and people say they work well for baking recipes or mashed potatoes. I think many Finns have their own recipes and are particular about the taste of potatoes, so what I just mentioned might not always be correct, but I found the idea of dividing the type by color intriguing. There have been moments I felt Finnish people's love for potatoes. I once made a tweet like, I want to be able to choose a suitable type of potatoes depending on the meal as a person living in Finland, with a picture I took at the supermarket. Then I got so many comments as you can see here. Let's see some of them. Yeah, so one person wrote me in Finnish like valitse jauhoinen, jos teet perunamuusia tai keittoa, ja kiinteä, mikäli keität ne kokonaisina. So he was giving me tips how to cook potatoes depending on what kind of dishes. And another one says, make sure to try pink peruna. Peruna means potato in Finnish. No special taste, but that color is cute. And another one, perunapusseissa on värikoodi kertomassa mihin peruna on tarkoitettu. So she was basically saying the same thing that I explained. So each potato has its own characteristic and it's divided by the color of the bag. Kokeilemalla löytyy varmasti paras. Yes. And the last one, Finland has excellent section of potatoes. Something I miss here in Asia. Try puikula boiled with skin on. Rosamunda for smash. Timo has new potatoes, so I'm not that much familiar about the name of each type, but it seems like puikula, Rosamunda, Timo are the name of the type of the potatoes, and each of the potato seems to have the best way to cook, I guess. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much for your tips. Nice to know. Yeah, so as you can see, some people kindly taught me how to cook each type of potatoes and others gave me their opinion about potatoes. Those comments actually motivated me to familiarize myself with potatoes a bit more. Let's move on to the last point. Around the late spring or the beginning of summer, Finnish people look a bit happier because summer is coming. And also it's season of new potatoes or early potatoes. Okay, maybe I'm a bit exaggerating. Last year I found two different types of early potatoes at the supermarket already in the late May and decided to buy them. I took these pictures and posted on Twitter. Then, you know what happened? So what I bought from the supermarket were potatoes from Sweden. And people were saying that I should get potatoes from Finland. Let's see the comments. So one person replied me, Swedish potatoes, no way. And she continued, well, worth waiting for the real thing. Real thing here means potatoes from Finland. And another person says, get the Finnish ones in about 2 weeks and taste the difference. It's not about the price, but too early is just too early. And another person says, but remember, it needs to be Finnish potatoes. Swedish early potatoes aren't the same at all. And the last one, well, there are actually some other comments, but I only chose 4 comments here. And she says, I was just gonna come here and be like, oh, those are Swedish, but others were quicker. Yeah, so I really should have gotten Finnish potatoes. I'm sorry. Yeah, anyway, this was actually pretty interesting to hear in several ways. First, I can see how Finns are proud of potatoes from Finland, and I actually like it. I think it's cool. Second, I wonder, do Finnish early potatoes and Swedish ones actually taste different? Would you recognize which potatoes are the Finnish ones and which ones are Swedish if you taste both and compare them? It'll be interesting to hear opinion from Swedish people as well. Maybe I should try comparing Finnish and Swedish early potatoes next summer. Anyway, that's all for today. Someday I wanna make a video where I make several dishes using potatoes with Finnish people. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Moi moi!